Well, there is no sign of Ryan Fraust anywhere. Seems like a wild goose chase. Supposed to be my buddy. So, I don't know. I'm gonna keep looking. All right, baby. It's time to get this going, man. I've been looking for this dude for... Mr. Fraust!
Good to see you, man.
Well, I went to where you told me to meet you.
Yeah, Don. Tazrax is my home field. It's my home court advantage. It's not where I live, bro. Come on. Let's go in the back.
This is the infamous Ryan Fraust, and you are listening to one of 3 human beings on this planet that I can even tolerate to be around. Don Kincaid, stirring the pot.
This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid.
We might have some wolfhound action. Who knows?
Who knows?
All right. Well, this is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Mr. Ryan Fraust. Ryan Fraust, we are at a beautiful setting, might I add.
Glad you like it, Don.
I was invited to Mr. Ryan Fraust's home, and I appreciate that, sir. I really do.
Please.
I know we have a rapport.
It was a pretty funny...
Oh, yeah. Funny for him, not for me.
Yeah. So, sorry you went... I'm not sorry you went to Tazrax.
Hey.
Although I know you don't drink much, so...
But, hey, that's okay. That's okay. I did not mind.
I don't know who else has offered Don Kincaid water and wine at one of these, but we're a, classy establishment here at the Fraust abode.
You know what I got from the privileged when I interviewed Mr. TJ Howell III?
At Consuela's
Yeah,
Pool
at
House?
Consuela's Pool House. You know what I got? Do you think I got water and wine? No, I got the privilege low key to jump on me. That's what I got.
Well,
have you met the privilege low key? His dog?
No.
Beautiful, beautiful dog. Bigger than me, though, I must say.
The dog is bigger than
The dog is bigger than me, I swear.
Okay.
All right, But hey, that's neither here or there. Because let's not start off...
TJ's not a bad guy.
Yeah. No.
Let's be honest.
We will be touching upon Mr. TJ Howell later on because, your name was mentioned in his interview. So we will be touching on that.
Okay.
Beautiful evening. It's gorgeous out here. We have the torches, we have the lights, we have the water, we have the wine. I feel like I'm at the Howell Estates right now. That's the way I feel.
But you weren't.
I know.
You were at Consuela's house.
Yeah, that's not even funny.
It's not like TJ doesn't respect you. Anyone I associate with, and I think a lot of the people who are watching this might realize that TJ and I work together when we can. And at Battlefront, we have the opportunity to, dabble in each other's affairs. And anybody who I associate with is going to respect Don Kincaid.
I wholeheartedly appreciate that.
Because if they don't, then that respect is no longer given to them as well.
Wow. You heard that from Mr. Ryan Fraust right here.
There's actually a lot of guys who are starting to jump on this bandwagon and say, oh, well, Kincaid, I'll protect you. And it's like, well, actually, I've been saying the entire time.
And if we can reflect, and
it's not to get better videos, bro. There's videos everywhere. I don't need you for your videos. I protect you because you are giving your time, your energy, your passion, your optimism. You're giving everything to all of us, and you would literally get nothing in return. You're doing it because you love it.
I do really appreciate that. That's a fantastic way to start.
So as much as I hate all the couch and keyboard warriors sitting at home, that's how much I love you for what you do, bud.
Wow, that.
You don't drink, do you? Well, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for the water and the wine. I do appreciate that. So there's so many topics to touch upon.
Sure.
What do you got in them torches? Maui Wowie or something, man? It smells pretty good. I mean,
No, you just smoke so much, you smell it everywhere, bro.
Oh, that's meant.
Because he's always stirring the pot.
It might be this beautiful Frosted Stupid shirt. Do you like this shirt? It was a gift.
I was trying to respectfully look past the fact that you were wearing it, but...
Well, I didn't want to point it out because you did touch my heart by the whole protection thing. That was very kind of you, and I love you for that.
Yeah.
But this was a gift, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't have to buy this. This was a gift. Somebody that you are well acquainted with gave me this.
Okay.
One Scotty Anarchy, if I might, if I might say.
Scott.
Yeah, Scotty Anarchy. So I guess we're just going to start right there. We might as well. I mean, there's many a face that I see you associated with, but Scotty Anarchy is new for me in wrestling because...
He's new for everyone in wrestling.
I've never seen him in wrestling before. I've seen him rocking out with Cross and Rubicon.
He wrestled, he actually wrestled like 20 years ago.
Really?
He trained at Jason Knight's House of Pain Dojo in Waterbury, Connecticut.
I remember those days.
He trained, I can't remember anybody he trained with at the school at that time, but he was doing real well. His name was Ray Sugar. A play on Sugar Ray because he had the spiky blonde hair. He was pretty, you know. It was funny.
That is hilarious.
It is. It was good. You know, we were all rooting for him, and it's not like he couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. He definitely could have done it. He just had other career opportunities, and some people go with, you know, the career opportunity.
You guys have been friends for a long time, though?
My entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Well,
the people related to Scott, the Warziniacs, you know, they're phenomenal human beings, salt of the earth, blue collar, hardworking people. His middle brother Paul was my best friend growing up, and then Scott, Paul, Mike, the youngest brother. You know, they're all doing real well for themselves. They've all got beautiful families. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And I'm just lucky enough to be a member of their family, you know, by association. But yeah, you know, that's why Ryan Frost is from Buffalo, New York.
Okay. I got you.
Because the Wozniaks are, you know.
Yeah, got you.
Because I'm a Raiders fan, not a Bills fan, but I like the Bills. I'll support them.
So why would I be given this shirt, though? I seen him wear it one time at a Battlefront show.
Oh.
And I don't know.
What happened there?
I don't know if I begged him for the shirt. I might have. I don't know. I might have been on my hands and knees and, please, sir, give me that shirt. It could have been. I don't know. But I was given this at Undeniable at Tazrax pre-show. And I
saw you wearing it.
I was actually wearing a Ryan effing Frost shirt. But you didn't see that because Scotty Anarchy covered it with this shirt. I sport this I was at a grocery store. Real quick story. I was at a grocery store and I was a young girl at the cash register. She goes, "Who's Ryan Frost?" And I go, "He's the guy who hates hardcore. He thinks hardcore is stupid." And she just stared at me like a deer in headlights. I think she was...
Well, she thought you meant you were talking about porn.
Yeah. She thought I was talking... I thought everybody loved wrestling. I guess not. There's not many.
But everybody loves porn.
I think that's where she thought I was driving at. And she just stared at me like a deer in headlights. And I looked at her and I go, "I don't think we're on the same page." And I left it as that. So
you left a marked impression on this young woman's life. So good job with that, Don.
With a Ryan, it's stupid shirt. I mean, I don't mean to laugh.
It's okay.
All right.
Hey.
Well,
who won the match, brother?
That is like the W or the L. You know, W's count, man.
Yeah.
W's count. We had a little fun at the opening of this. You talked about Scott and his brothers. Mm-hmm. One brother that was mentioned, Paul. Mm-hmm. That guy happens to go to the shows that Ryan Frost is performing at, and that guy...
As often as he can.
As often, yeah. I can't say everyone
There's
because...
real life,
Right. But that guy cheers Ryan Frost on like nobody in the entire venue ever.
Yeah.
Is he actually Ryan Frost's #1 fan?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Ryan, my personal #1 fan, like the guy who never missed a play I was in high school or college, never missed a band performance, was Private First Class Geber Noonan, who is no longer with us. You know, I often attribute the fact that I'm wrestling and that I'm doing this to the fact that we all backyard wrestled together, and you know, Geber's no longer with us. He was the most charismatic, the toughest. He was everything that Ryan Frost says he is, but he really was. And he was my biggest fan as a performer in all those areas of performance. But as, you know, the years go by, and as I have a lot of friends who are into wrestling. We were all into wrestling. Wrestling brings everyone together. And the guy who, since Ryan Frost punched Jay Brown in the dick and became an immediate heel, like Paul is the guy who has every step of the way been just super supportive. He was never as supportive of my bands. He is very supportive of the wrestling. So maybe I'm better at wrestling than I am at singing. But he's been awesome. All the people who do support me have been awesome. You know, even all you people who hate me, you're awesome because that supports me. So thank you.
You're obviously not a baby face or a hero.
Right.
Do you like being that side of it, the heel or the villain side of wrestling?
So, I mean, if we're going to kind of like go between the me and the athlete
and the Frost
as separate
entities,
like Ryan, as I am, is extremely, I don't want to say likable, but I'm just friendly, you know, like I don't want to hurt a fly. In fact, I would say that anybody who has a problem with Ryan, like, look at yourself, because nobody has a problem with me. Plenty of people have a problem with Frost because he's a jerk. I love playing into that. Like, that's the guy. I think the reason why some fans cheer for Ryan Frost, even though he does nothing redeemable, is that everybody wishes they could be that much of a jerk all the time. And I'm trying to watch my language here.
Yeah, you can be a little free. Let's not get crazy, but you can be free. Okay.
Maybe something will prompt the F-bombs, but
just saying.
For now, you know, Frost, really, to speak about him as a separate person is the guy that we all wish we could be. Like, I don't care at all about what management wants or what the people who I have to impress want or about what anybody wants. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do, break every rule I can. In fact, Frost wants to break the rules for fun. He would rather break a rule, win the match, and get away with it than, or he would rather break a rule, get caught, and lose the match than win the match in certain circumstances.
That has happened over a course of the Frost's career so far.
He's getting better at cheating, though. Early on, it was like, oh, I punched a guy in the face with a chain. Oh, the ref saw it. Like, it's not happening as much anymore.
So, little by little, your experience in ring, show after show, has gained. Does it gain a confidence in you where you realize these little things that you've noticed, like, oh, I hit the dude with a chain, the ref saw it, that didn't work out that well? Have you evolved like that as a wrestler and more conscious, I guess I'll say?
It's thank you for asking, Don. It's funny because I'm more confident than I've ever been because I know how simple it is to wrestle a match. But I'm not doing as much as I know I can do physically.
Okay.
You know, like I've got a little extra weight. I get it. But Can I do a lot of things that I don't do? Like, yeah, I can do a lot more. You know, that there'll be times in training where I'll do something and you know, Slick or Bobby will be like, oh, when could you do that? I'm like, I can always do that. But Fraust doesn't need to do any of that. Fraust
he's just a powerhouse.
He's looking to hit somebody and he's looking to win. You know, he's looking to get people to really, more so than even win a match, Fraust is looking for people to just admit that he's great. Like, just say it. Just
That's where the infamy comes in?
Infamy. The definition of infamy is achieving notoriety by performing nefarious deeds.
Wow.
And that's Ryan Fraust wants to be known for being a jerk. That's it.
Might I add, you've...
He wouldn't mind winning a couple championships along the way. But
I would love to see that personally.
we're getting there.
But you have been quite the jerk, if you will, through the Fraust's career. And the people's reaction, like you said, the good and the bad, it's all, you soak all of that in.
It's organic.
Yes.
I'm getting what I get because I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
It's not like somebody had to tell these people, like, listen, you don't like this guy for this reason, so make sure you boo him. Like, that didn't happen. I love Battlefront dearly. I think there is a lot more fan interaction since I started having the opportunity to cut promos and stuff.
Okay.
What they do, they're hardcore, hard-nosed. It's crazy to me, but they do it.
I've seen you twirling around and using a kendo stick, which is included with hardcore wrestling. What the hell?
Because Battlefront is the company that has given me the most length of leash, you know what I mean?
Okay.
They're letting me do more. I have the opportunity to, I mean, basically, it's hard to decipher what's coming from Ryan and what's coming from Fraust, but I'm going to save Battlefront.
Really?
I am.
That's what's going to happen?
Maybe they sell out every show they do.
Okay.
We do. Maybe we sell out every event that we put on. Allow me to reword that in the best possible way. I'm going to absolutely stifle all of the hardcore as much as I can. I'm going to make sure that parents can capably bring their children to this event and know that nothing's going to happen that will scar their child for life.
Well, can we rewind a little bit? Because at the last Battlefront Pro Wrestling event, you, my friend, and Just Incredible had a match. And I'd really like to touch upon this since we're on the Battlefront topic. That was bloody AF, if you will.
That's not my fault.
Nobody's fault. I'm just saying what we saw. It was very bloody.
An individual brought a barbed wire wrapped Singapore cane to a match. I did not take said instrument and exact justice the way that I could have.
I give you that.
I could have been much meaner. I was in control for 90% of that match. I could have ripped the shirt off his back by striking him over and over again with that. I didn't. It was in the corner. I took an opportunity. Little drop toe hold, little wrestling move in a hardcore match.
In spandex.
And I was wearing spandex.
Yes.
And he bled. And this was way before Double or Nothing. I want to make that abundantly clear.
Whoa.
I love Dustin Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes. And I'm not saying they bit off us because that's insane. But Just Incredible bleeding that much had nothing to do with that. That was way before. It was just, you know, drop toe hold into the barbed wire, cut him the wrong way, man. He got ripped up.
He did.
He was bleeding heavy. I do not promote that. I don't want that. I want Susie in seat A3 not to have to see this giant old has-been bleeding all over the place right in front of her, possibly bleeding on her because she's in the front row. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I don't want that.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying, is I'm going to do everything I can not to keep these hardcore wrestlers from performing, because everybody has to perform.
You need a stage.
Everybody has to compete.
Yeah, you need a stage, baby.
Yeah, everybody wants to win gold. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Just Incredible is the last ECW original that I'm going to have the opportunity to fight. And I am going to remove every hardcore tactic from anyone's arsenal. Make it Dirtbag Dan, who I adore.
He's crazy.
I adore him. He's a great guy. He's not going to pull that hardcore shit with me.
Wow.
Len Oddity is terrifying.
It's crazy.
I don't
he had
want,
skewers in his head.
I don't want anything to do with that. But if I end up in the ring across the ring from him, he's not going to hit me with all that stuff. I'm not doing that.
So
I'm a wrestler.
You are 1,000% anti-hardcore. 1,000%. All right. I guess we're drinking today.
It's hard to say because I'm talking to you, Don, not because I'm talking to them.
I got you.
But, once in a while, you give it everything you have. It's not working. You've seen me drag a table out from under a ring. You've actually seen me open the door to the venue and bring a table inside from outside.
Yeah.
That was very smart on my part.
Yeah. Just to get rid of it.
Well, to use it.
Well.
When it's necessary. Here's what I'll say about hardcore. I will do anything, any means necessary to get my point across, to win the match, especially when there's an opportunity for a championship, when there's a championship on the line. I'll do whatever it takes. But as a staple, as a go-to, as a gimmick, hardcore is stupid.
Wow. Is it because you're a Kowalski guy and that's the way the wrestling mentality was, like it should be more craft instead of, weapons?
A lot of people have said a lot of very nice things to me since I started wrestling. Calling me a Kowalski guy is the best compliment I've gotten so far.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
I actually, no matter what I might say in a promo, I don't consider myself a Kowalski guy yet. I'm just not good enough.
Okay.
I'm always training super hard at Test of Strength, where Wagner Brown, who is a Kowalski guy, is imparting this wisdom. And we went to a seminar Perry Saturn was running, who was also trained directly from Kowalski.
Okay.
Same drills, same thing.
Really?
All these guys who were trained by Kowalski, and Alex Rojas actually brought this to my attention as well. They all teach the same way, and they all operate the same way. I'm not saying it's the same match they all wrestle. I'm saying they all have the same mentality.
Gotcha.
And I hope that I'm dragging away at least a little bit of that,
Well, since we're on topic, you mentioned Slick Wagner Brown, Alex Rojas, Test of Strength Wrestling. I'm going to assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that where Ryan Frost was born, in Test of Strength Wrestling?
TOS is home. I started training, I think it's like 5 years ago, as far as my Facebook memories remind me, at PWA, Pro Wrestling Academy in New Haven, not Cheshire, in New Haven.
You threw a left curve at me.
Bro, the first time I set foot in a wrestling ring, except for like NEW shows where I was getting an autograph from Sid or some shit, the first time I set foot in a ring to do things was a Stevie Richards seminar put on by PWA. El Jabroni was there.
Really?
Hippie Diggy Moon was there.
Oh, nice.
Xander Litt was there.
Wow.
Don't.
I got it. You cannot. I get triggered like that.
Recky Balagursky was there. A lot of guys who actually have kind of separated themselves from the PWA brand anyway were all there, and I started training there in the daytime, so it was just me and another guy training.
Oh, okay.
To get me in shape, and I was actually in better shape then than I am now. But work happens, life happens,
Were you an active wrestler in PWA?
No. Nope.
What were you doing?
Well, so, you know, it took some time off, went back, took some time off, went back. And by the time I was going consistently again, it was in Cheshire. And I was refereeing, you know, Friday night fights.
Love those. We had
so much fun.
So many good times.
I met so many cool people. I still have so many cool connections from doing those.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, you know, I'm a pretty humble guy, but I think I ended up being a really good ref. You know, thanks to Pete, Kara, Dredd, Hippie actually was training in the ring while Cheshire was operating. So, you know, I learned a lot from him. Moonshine.
At one point, wasn't Hippie Dickie Moon and Bull Dredd basically the head trainers for a little while?
They were.
Okay.
You know, Dredd was the head trainer.
Okay.
But, you know, again, life, work.
Right.
You know, sometimes he couldn't be there, and it was mainly Hippie and Moonshine in the ring, but Bull Dredd was the, like, veteran presence.
Okay.
You know, Kara kept it open. Kara did a great job. You know, there were times when it was the GOAT already, Elijah 6, the demonic angel, angelic demon, I never remember it on purpose, Dajé Simone, the infamous Ryan Frost, Mr. No Respect, Slade Dangerfield. And that was your training class.
Oh.
Back then.
No kidding.
You know, taking a bunch of hip tosses.
Wow.
So, Sammy Diaz. Oh my God. The Puerto Rock prodigy, Sammy Diaz. The leader of the next generation, Sammy Diaz.
I used to love Sammy Diaz.
Well, we all did.
And then he hit Jay Brown with a chair.
Oh,
Not once.
That was actually probably the best decision he ever made.
That's I'll hail Jay Brown just for that. Were you always a referee in PWA?
At the last Friday night fights, somebody who's become a very good friend of mine now, but Slade Dangerfield, like, you know, kept taking liberties. Him and Ezzy were just cheating a bunch. And, you know, he pushed me and I hit him a couple times and did the whole Hulk Hogan gimmick. And, like, and that was, dude, that reaction. I've done a lot of performance before I really took wrestling seriously.
So let's just stop at PWA.
Well,
Go ahead.
Can I just throw this out there before we change topics?
Please do.
I've played at world famous L'Amour's in Brooklyn and had the crowd cheering so loud when we played Hallowed Be Thy Name by Maiden. And it's the guitar solo part, Maiden. And like, they were cheering so loud I couldn't hear the band. So I didn't know when I was supposed to come in.
Oh.
Because that's how good they were, you know.
Wow.
I've done Shakespeare on 3 continents, you know, like really good roles. What? I've gotten standing ovations more times than I can count.
Wow.
And that, just throwing a few punches, back elbow, leg drop, that crowd reaction. And they all knew it was the last Friday night fights. They were primed to be excited anyway. My boy Shane Fair was like freaking the fuck out. And that's when I knew. I was like, you know what? This whole time, I only sang in bands and I only acted and I only did anything because I wanted to wrestle. I've always wanted to wrestle. And I never thought it was realistic. Because I thought being an actor, being a straight actor, just acting, not singing and dancing, I thought that would be more realistic somehow. Even though I'm 6'3", you know, built, this isn't all gym. Like, actually, this is definitely not gym. But I'm big, you know. And I just, I should have realized that this gives me such a leg up in wrestling.
Absolutely.
You know?
Because when you were leading up to your debut, you had still on your Facebook, your logo, Ryan Frost, kind of bloody, is that supposed to be, or something? Or icy, it was cold, right?
Icy and cold.
Yes.
The original shit was the Icer Ryan Frost.
Okay.
And it was like a mix between an MMA guy and a hitman. you know, the whole MMA thing, like, do I think I could go a round or two? Yeah, but CM Punk did too. I don't know if I could or not.
We saw over that one.
I was an all-state amateur wrestler.
Wow.
So I could go, but I don't know if I could mix it up in that MMA arena, man. Like, those guys train very hard. Very hard.
We're gonna bring back the Fraust character. We're gonna rewind because I need to jump a little bit because
I ramble.
No, because my brain is not on. My head is not screwed on correctly. My brain just goes crazy, and I got like.
And that's why you wear stupid shirts like that.
But it was a present. You talked performing in a band. You've talked performing on stage as an actor, Shakespeare. You were talking acting. Let's go back, because all of those things, like you were saying, becomes a package, and you're like, what the hell have I been doing? I should have just been a wrestler.
Yep.
So you said you've performed on 3 different continents acting?
Mm-hmm.
On like theater, Broadway, like type stages, or like what was Ryan?
So thanks to Western Connecticut State University and their theater department, which since I left is a national leading theater department, with the 1 year was the best theater performance center in the country.
Wow.
Not UConn, and I love UConn, go Huskies. Western Connecticut State University had the best theater performance center in the country. Not NYU, not any Hart School of Music, not any of these places. That was it. But that was after I was gone. So I'm just taking a little posthumous pride. When I was there, you know, we still had, you know, a really good theater department. It just was, you know, we had less resources, you know. And because of Frank Herbert and Bill Walton and Sal Trapani and Liz Popeil, I had the opportunity to audition for Twelfth Night, which if any of you guys are too young to remember Shakespeare, you'll remember a movie called She's the Man. And that, my role was not in She's the Man. My role was a tarantula in She's the Man. But the promo, I call everything a promo, the monologue where you say some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them, was from Malvolio. He was a butler for a duchess, and he was in love with her, and he was just trying to make everything happen where he could get with her, even though she was in love with this guy. And that's how, you know, Shakespeare comedies go. And it was a comedy, but it was a really good villain role.
Okay.
Right? And they wanted me to audition for Sir Toby, the giant obese drunk. And I wasn't obese at the time, but I was big and I drank a lot. And they were like, oh, you could play Sir Toby. And this was a musical. And I was singing for metal bands. So they thought I would go out there and do Purple Haze as Sir Toby and tear the house down.
Really?
But I wanted Malvolio.
Oh.
So I came out with the perfect accent, complete package where this individual is more manipulative and evil than anyone you could imagine, you know, and that's not even good. I was much better than that.
Okay.
My chops are rusty. But I walked into that audition, I said, no, I want to audition for a Malvolio, and they were like, well, we got you for Sir Toby. And they were basically like, you could play Sir Toby and just go everywhere. And I'm like, no, I want to be Malvolio. And they're like, okay, well, give it a shot. And I put it on, and they had no choice. And the kid who got Sir Toby is a great kid named Tyler Donahue. I don't think he traveled every bit as much as I did. He was a real good kid, so I'm glad he did. And so we went to Edinburgh, Scotland for a month for an international theater festival where I saw some of the best performers I've ever seen. This guy, Tim Minchin, who in America you might recognize Matilda, the Broadway musical that won a bunch of Tony Awards. He wrote the score for that. He's done a bunch of like one-man comedy things. He's the funniest fucking dude ever. He was playing in the same venue as we were. So I saw him. I saw a bunch of stuff that was really cool. And then we went to Guayaquil, Ecuador for a week. And we played a venue that had only had ballet for like 20 years. And we were the first theatrical production in that venue that seated like thousands and thousands of people. I don't even remember how many thousands. And it was full every night we played. And man, it's Guayaquil. Like, they speak Spanish. And we're playing Shakespeare. But because it was a musical, and because it was rock music, 60s music that people understood, it didn't really matter what we were saying. And we were a good cast, a lot of really good performers. They knew what we were doing, and they exploded. I taught an acting seminar to an acting class who only spoke Spanish.
While you spoke English?
I speak a little Spanish.
Oh, okay, okay.
But we had a translator.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there like talking, and this guy's like, and that was insane. That was insane.
So you've had quite the experience with your acting prowess, if you will.
Some, you know.
I did not see that coming.
I won a theater festival, not me, but Key Seymour, Sean Gallagher, some guys, Sedarius Blaine. So I was in a play with the tall kid who turns into Kevin Hart in Jumanji. It's not. I'm not hyping me. I'm hyping him.
I got that.
Because he was also in Footloose, the like newest Footloose movie.
Yeah.
Because he can dance his balls off.
Okay.
He was in. He basically looks like a more like stacked like Will Smith.
Okay.
More stacked, younger Will Smith. You know, and I was in that play. We won a festival. They went to LA to film it, and I couldn't go to LA to film it. They wanted to go in a different direction with the character I was doing, which was more of a Sir Toby character. Maybe I'm just not a very good buffoon. I don't know. That's why we're drinking wine, Don. And yeah, at the end of the day, like, you know, at the time that I didn't get to move on with them, I was a little butthurt. I was a lot butthurt. But now I'm just so happy for them, and I'm so proud of them. They won the Manhattan Film Festival short film, best short film for the play that I did with them.
Wow.
I just wasn't in it because they went to LA and filmed it.
Yeah, there's a few pterodactyls out here.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's what it is.
It's the environment, baby. It's the environment. So the acting, you were pretty satisfied with acting at that point, no?
I just got sick of, so I did Indiana Jones, the Crystal Skull. I did
Wait, you were in Indiana Jones?
Well, I was a featured extra. Featured extra.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't.
No shit.
I can find myself if you guys want to like pause and like kind of like look, but like I didn't have FaceTime. I didn't have any lines.
Gotcha.
I did that for 3 days. I got paid like $3,000 for 3 days because I was big enough to look like a football player.
Okay.
And they have, you know, roles that are not speaking. So technically, I was a member of the Marshall University football team.
Okay.
I was just like every other extra, except I was 6'3" and wearing a varsity jacket.
All right.
But I got paid like I had lines and shit.
That's awesome.
And I got all the credits I needed to join the Actors Union, but I didn't have the money to buy myself in. I had money. And I said, am I going to move to New York City, then buy myself into the union, or am I going to buy myself into the union and then move to New York City? Because I only had that money. So which am I going to do? I chose, like a moron, to move to New York City. Never had the opportunity to buy myself into the union. And these union auditions are like 6 in the morning. But you have to wait tables or bartend to make a living. So like obviously I'm working till 1 to 3 in the morning. It's the same struggle that every actor has. I didn't have the financial backing. I didn't have the healthy habits that would have led me to be able to do it. I couldn't do it. So I failed. I failed.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that, because with that experience, and I mean, not apples to oranges or whatever, but you've spoken about promos, and I've actually talked to a couple on my interviews about how important promos are and what they do for your character if you project yourself correctly. Dustin Rhodes, I listened to the Chris Jericho podcast, and he was very adamant on cutting promos and making your character the way you want it, as long as you project it to the fans and it comes off the way it should. That will take your character and do something with it. So you, with the promos, you have kind of grown, because I kind of started seeing you at TOS when you started wrestling as Ryan Fraust, and I think I got some of that Kincaid file action when you started, when Elijah 6 started. There was a couple of them at TOS, and you've evolved a little bit, or not a little bit, you've evolved a lot of it, because you've cut your time down. You've gotten your points out a little bit quicker. You had an idea or a game plan going in.
Wagner said, 90 seconds is by far the most. Try to keep it under 60, and it's not even because we got to keep these people attention. It's Instagram won't post a video that's longer than 60 seconds.
Right.
You got to get it out there, and if you clip it, you're losing something.
Right.
I could cut a promo that lasts 10 minutes about any opponent. Give me anybody. And I'd be hard pressed to find somebody who wouldn't enjoy it, the whole thing. The problem, as you say, is cutting it down, keeping it concise, keeping it relevant. Everything you say has to matter. And sometimes I have more to say that matters than I can fit into it, and I have to just kind of adjust. Because just like right now, I'm rambling. But
it's a pick and choose while you're trying to get that idea out.
Yeah. And thank you for saying so. I'm trying, I know guys who say, I don't really like your promos. I don't like the style. You just kind of talk.
Well, that's Ryan Fraust. He's not this big loud mouth over the top thing.
There's people from the beginning of my wrestling journey, way beginning, and they say, I've never seen a good Ryan Fraust match, still to this day.
Really?
All right. I'm not even saying you're wrong or dumb. I'm saying okay, I guess I haven't impressed you yet.
Right.
That's all of that is fine with me, because what I'm trying to do is get the reaction in live time at the venue while the match is going on. And I think I get a pretty reasonable reaction.
You've been doing, I'm going to say you've been doing quite well.
There are promotions that don't want to make me a focus that I show up at.
Okay.
And I walk through the curtain, and Wagner Brown always says, leave no doubt in their mind. You step through that curtain, they know who you are. That's when you establish yourself. I think I can step through the curtain somewhere where they don't know who I am and get a reaction.
That is the biggest, no, not the biggest. It's one of the biggest kind of, I'll call it a faux pas or a pet peeve that I have, when I don't know who this guy or girl is coming out through the curtain, the door, the whatever, down the ramp, and they don't give us. How are we supposed to react to a person that walks out and looks around at the crowd instead of taking that character and throwing it at us? It's so hard for us fans to adjust to that. And
there's two different types. There's two types. There's giant fucking guy. Excuse me.
Hey.
There's giant guy who's probably wearing loose pants and a tight top, who makes his way out there, looks around, walks deliberately to the ring, but doesn't do anything. Or there's little athletic looking guy, comes out,
yeah,
and then walks to the ring.
All they have to do is pump it.
Guys.
That gives us something.
You're saying that about the little athletic guy?
I'm saying about if you give us any type of signal.
React to the crowd.
Yes.
They want to react to you.
Well,
give them something.
It's the hardest thing when you are an unknown factor walking through that. Like you said, you could go and you're going to make your presence known, and you're going to know if I'm good or bad.
So stirring the pot is like, kayfabe is kind of like, meh.
We're
it's
in a
fluid.
roller yes.
Kayfabe is fluid.
We're on a roller coaster, baby.
What mixed martial artist do you remember walking down to the octagon? The guys who strut it up and wear fucking headdresses and look mean and yell at the crowd? Or do you remember the guy who goes...
I remember
and that's purportedly real. They say it's real.
I remember the first guy because
it's rigged AF, but...
Bellator and UFC are two different type of companies. But when Bellator do their entrances, it's kind of WWE-esque.
You know, and whether it is or isn't real, as somebody would want to say, they are adding pomp. They're adding emotional involvement to the audience. You know, and that guy is going to be more memorable every time, whether he wins or loses.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you're saying, you know, a lot of these shows you go to, a lot of these events you go to, you know, somebody comes out, looks around, walks to the ring. That's not enough, man.
Yeah, I got nothing from him.
It's not enough.
Because now we can't react. We don't know how to boo, cheer. What do you want us to do? You know?
You don't. You laugh.
But I
laugh, and you're like, you're a bum. Get out of here.
I gotta do something.
You don't.
I gotta boo or I gotta cheer.
Or you got to sit there and let the promoter see that they're not getting a reaction.
There has been a couple of those. I got to say, you know, as I film and I watch and I do their entrance, I'm like, I don't know what to say. So it ends up being no reaction.
No reaction.
You know?
And it's not just you, it's the crowd.
Yeah, it's many. It's definitely not just me.
This is the infamous Ryan Fraust, and you are listening to one of 3 human beings on this planet that I can even tolerate to be around. Don Kincaid.